everybody. This is episode number 2 of Sistaz Talking Ish on the Real Ish radio platform. I'm Kalia, and I am joined with my fellow co-hosts here, both of my sister-in-laws, Salita.
I'm Tiff.
We're doing something a little different today because Tiff has decided that after our episode that we did on 313, that she was feeling a little homesick, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So Tiff decided to return back to her roots in Detroit this week. But we still again, just to let you guys know, we'll be here every week. A little bit about ourselves. We're doing this weekly podcast as 3 sister-in-laws. So a long time ago, we all fell in love with 3 brothers. And then that's how we were able to form this amazing bond that we now have today. We chat every weekend. We literally spend every weekend together. Yep. And we do this at home every weekend. So it was my brother's idea. He said we should just go ahead and put a camera up and do a podcast. So basically what we'll be doing is allowing you guys to see a look into what we already do every weekend anyway. So
let's talk stuff.
Talking stuff. So what you doing out there, Tiff? What you been doing this week?
I've been TCBing it, taking care of business. We came down here for our medical appointments to see family and friends. I saw about 5 people yesterday, just making stops and rounds, and yeah. So I've been super duper busy, but it's been great to be back home. You know, the weather is it's not too cold. It's actually okay. Today the sun is out. I'm like, it's not quite Arizona, but the sun is out today. It's actually a really nice day today. So I've been enjoying myself. How about y'all?
So I got a question for you before I tell you what we've been up to this week. So do you miss us more or do you miss the weather more?
I think it's about
It's I miss y'all more.
It's y'all more. It's you, and the weather is a compliment. You know what I'm saying? It goes with that. Yes.
You sound conflicted, sis.
Mm-hmm.
I really miss the weather. But I miss y'all more. Because we be right sitting doing the same thing we're doing right now, just in person.
That's true. So what you been up to, sis?
Nothing. I'm in between. So I've been chilling all week. I gotta try to find just chilling all week.
You on welfare?
Yeah, I'm on welfare until next Thursday. So I'm on welfare for a little bit. So I'm just gonna try to find a show to binge watch, and chill.
Wait, did you?
Happy for you to have that me time.
Is this just the universe allowing the stars to align, or did you like quit your job because your STEMI hit?
I knew my STEMI was coming, so when they told me that it was gonna be in there on Tuesday, I was like, I might as well quit. Because y'all do not know how to act once we get the STEMI. Let me tell you, when it hit my account, I said, "Look at God," because he knew I was unemployed and I had no money, and I'm like, "What am I gonna do, Lord?"
No, so seriously though, you've been going back and forth for a couple of weeks now, having 2 different companies fighting for you. So I want to say congratulations on you finally making a decision on which way you wanted to go. And I wish you all of the luck in your new endeavors with your new job.
Thank you. And if any of my team members happen to stumble upon this video, just know I love y'all. Just know that.
You didn't quit because of them.
No.
All love. It's all love.
I don't know. That's a good problem to have though, having 2 people want you.
No, it's stressful. It's like being in a relationship with 2 people you don't know who to choose.
Right?
It's awful.
So I have been doing absolutely nothing this week. Work, school, mom, wife, the usuals. That's about it. I've just been super busy doing the same day-to-day stuff. Nothing too crazy. I didn't really do anything this week. I didn't travel. I didn't quit or lose a job. It's just been real regular weed over here this week. But kind of to Salita's point, having a good situation where it's kind of good to be wanted by 2 people and to be not wanted by anybody. Some people struggling right now. We in the middle of a Panera Bread, and some people having a really hard time getting a job and keeping a job. So I think it's amazing when you can not only have a job or keep a job, but get a job and have companies fighting for you. So
it's definitely a blessing.
I think
I like to have options.
Yeah, definitely options. But I think that's kind of a good segue for us to talk about one of the things that we have been wanting to discuss, which is co-parenting and blended families. The idea of having multiple people fighting for the love and affection of these amazing little germy ass kids. So what you think, Tiff? You have a blended family.
I do. I have my other daughter. She is 19 now. She lives in Ohio with her mother, but now she's in school now and she's independent. But when she was younger, yeah, it was nice to have her come and visit. The dynamic is interesting because I'm her parent, but I'm not her parent. You know what I mean? Like I'm her father's wife. So I have authority to tell her what to do? Do I have authority? You see what I'm saying? So it's like walking that line. But with her, she was always amazing whenever she came to visit. So we never had any of those like uncomfortable moments where I'm like, yo, you don't have to do that. We never had any conflict. She's always been wonderful, respectful. So, she's my second daughter.
That's good. That is really good. How do you think you would deal with having a situation? You don't. So Tiff and I, we both have blended families. You don't have a blended family because you've been in your current family since you was 11 and a half about
that age, 11, 12. I don't know how I would react. I mean, I've been in a situation where I was in a bit blended family. And it wasn't necessarily blended because my mom did marry someone. But it was kind of strange going to the fact, you of course you don't see them all the time, your siblings, because they are living in different states. But it was just a weird situation. But sidetrack though, we've had that conversation. I did talk to Layla. I said, so if your dad had a whole nother woman, who would you stay with? She said, she looked at me in the car, you? Ain't nobody got time to be dealing with him.
Sounding just like you.
Right? Is that a conversation that everybody have with their kids? Because even though we have a blended family, even when I'm talking to all of my kids, I've had the same conversation. Even with my children that I haven't, physically birthed, I've asked them like, so if something was to happen between me and Daddy, what team you rocking with? And ironically enough, even my babies that I didn't birth, they've even said like, I'm rocking with you.
Dang.
So I think mine is a little bit more.
Yes, mom is where it's at. Okay.
You rarely hear the child wanting to go with their father unless their mom was like on drugs or something like that.
I think kids are smart as hell, and I think kids know that when they have like part of their time spent with dad, I think they know that at that point, I think all dads kind of fall into the into like the into the Disney dad role. Somebody said, "Fuck them kids,"
and I kind of got
like you see the father being a disciplinarian. The father's a disciplinarian, so they like, I'm over here rocking with mom because mom's not as, mom's not as strict as dad is.
And that's exactly what Layla said. She said, I'm not staying with him, but the only thing is, when it comes to co-parenting, Jamie, I think he would try to take the kids from me.
He always say he would.
And he would try to take the kids from me and make me pay him spousal and child support. He's so
like, I'm rich now.
Yes.
I think he would do that. My brother can be raggedy like that. I think he would definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's the case. So I think that is that the disciplinary side definitely plays a role in it. Mm-hmm. I know, and I'm willing to admit, I don't know if most parents are willing to admit this. I'm willing to admit I'm the softer parent. And for a long time, I used to get so pissed because I'm like, the kids would always come to me and ask me questions. And I'm like, why are you walking clean past daddy to come and ask me a question? And then one day Kim was like, well, because you always say yes, that's why they come to you. So they'll come and they'll ask you because they know they're going to get what they want. And then I realized like, damn, that is it. Because I always say yes. I just don't really see, there's not many things that my kids ask for that's so ridiculous that I feel like I need to say no. I've said no before, but it's few and far in between that I hit them with a no.
I'm the no queen. I definitely say no a lot. Jamie says no all the time, so I know she wouldn't go want to live with him.
So if I feel like you're not the disciplinary over there, I don't feel like you're the disciplinary over there.
Oh no, I'm not. You gotta own it. You know what I'm saying? I always support him in every decision, in his parenting decisions that are made, but he's definitely the one that'll be like, no, we're not gonna do that, and like that. Yeah, so I support it, but I'm just like, that's not me.
So I think in your situation you have a blended family. So when you and Rod got together, you were single, you didn't have any kids. He was single, he had one kid, and then you guys got together, and then now you have a kid together. For me and Ken, when we first met, I was single, I had one kid, he was single, he had 3 kids. And I talk to a lot of people about this all the time. I've had people who I haven't spoken to in years reach out to me and ask me for advice about blending their families and about co-parenting. And I'm gonna toot our own horn over here, and I think we do an amazing job. I'm thankful for the way that Ken parents. I'm also thankful for and most of you, and this is probably gonna shock some people. This is not gonna shock y'all because y'all used to this. But I'm extremely thankful for the women that he chose to have kids with. I think that he did a very good job picking extremely mature women who put their kids first. And I think that at the end of the day, as long as you put the kids first, I think everything else will fall in line because you're making decisions built on the child. Yeah, because I'm extremely lucky. They allow me to have these kids. My kids call me mom. I take care of them. They are my kids. And I appreciate that all of their moms for never interfering in their relationship or being weird about it. Because there's some people who feel like I'm not letting my kid call nobody else mom, or I'm not letting somebody else take care of my kid or raise my kid. Or there's even women who'll say, don't have my kids around that new bitch.
Yep.
So how do you think y'all would act if the relationships you were in right now didn't work and then your husband ended up with somebody else? How do you think you would receive that person?
I'm not gonna act like I would be thrilled with that situation, but like you said, the kids come first. So you got to put yourself to the side, your thoughts, your feelings about them being with somebody else in a romantic relationship, and just it's about the kids. We need to just put that aside and work together, co-parenting for the children. Like that's my thoughts. I might have some petty thoughts. I might say some petty stuff.
I would have to pray.
But at the end of the day, we got to put the kids first.
I would have to pray and fast. Not only, I would have to hold it more together because my 13-year-old is the most pettiest child on the planet. So I would have to be I wouldn't be able to have like an attitude. I would have to act like everything is amazing because she's just pray for her all. It just wouldn't work out too well.
So how would you feel if they wanted to, like say Tally wanted to call her new stepmom mom? Side note, I hate the word stepmom and I hate the word stepkid. But go ahead.
Like, see, I don't call my husband's eldest child. Like, I don't call her like my that's my daughter. Like, so I guess it goes both ways, right? Because I wonder how her mom feels about me calling her my daughter and I didn't birth her. So I don't know, man. I'm just being honest. Like it would take some time for me to really wrap my mind around the fact of my child calling someone else their mother.
And you
ain't do none of that.
And the plus thing about it, if your child got to that point where she feels like she can call her mom, then I would feel that my child, I would, of course you're going to be hurt about it, but then you should also know that that person is taking care of your child when they're in their care as if it was their own.
A bond. But there's definitely going to be a bond if they feel comfortable enough to address them like that. So yeah.
That's kind of how I feel the exact same way that y'all feel about that. I think that I trust my kid enough, and I think we all know that kids are trash enough that if they didn't like the step parent, they would call the step parent
by their first name,
Mrs. Jones.
And I did that.
Anything I have a friend to this day who refers to her stepmother as my daddy's wife, and her dad has been married to this woman for 20 plus years, and she doesn't call. I don't know this woman's first name. I don't know her last name. All I know is that that's my friend's daddy's wife. because that's what she calls her. So I feel like stuff like that to me would make me more uncomfortable in this situation. I feel like it's a kid calling their other parent mom or dad, to me, is a bigger reflection on the relationship. It means that you're taking good enough care of my child that my child looks at you as a parent. It's kind of like y'all ever, maybe not you or somebody you were near, you ever heard somebody like accidentally called a teacher in school mommy or something like that?
Nah.
I heard them try that first name, no. Got shut down. I've heard that.
I heard your name was Lorraine. I'm gonna call you now.
No, I've heard like people call the teacher mom or something by accident, and I think that it's just when you have somebody in your life who's playing that nurturing role. I think it's I don't think it's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't have a problem with my son. He has another mom with his dad, and if he called her mom, I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be a reflection of what kind of relationship they had. I wouldn't care if if he was to remarry and the kids all called his new wife mom. I wouldn't care. It wouldn't bother me at all. I would rather them call her mom than call her anything else that made me feel like she's just a babysitter or somebody just over there.
Let me tell you something. When my mom, when I was in a situation as a child being in a blended, I didn't call him nothing. I'm like, hey, you. Hey, you. I'm like, I'm not doing it. But that's because that the type of person he was a horrendous individual. See? So I'm like, I'm calling you by your first name, and I don't care if I'm in the third grade. This is your name, and this is what I'm calling you. Hey, that's what I'm calling you.
So Tiff, you think you warmed up to the idea? You think you might be able to let your kids call somebody else mom?
Definitely possible.
And I just think it would take some use, because of course you would feel
some time
about it, especially depending on how you and your spouse split. Mm-hmm. I think that also has something to do with it.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was messy and he maybe cheated and went with that person, he probably was. It just all depends on the different circumstances surrounding the situation.
So if he cheat on you and then he end up marrying the side piece, do you just want the kids to call the new girl side piece?
Her name would be
that chick.
Whatever her name is. You call
that
her
chick.
You call her nasty.
That girl you live with. That girl you messing with.
Here come that nasty lady.
But then you would have to also be an adult
That's true.
Even though it will be very difficult. Because me and my kid are
y'all are not nice people.
That's not true.
Y'all not nice.
Y'all don't do that.
Y'all not nice.
We are too.
No, I think you and Layla would say horrible things about that lady.
We would.
And I think Mimi would give her the business, because Mimi's worse than both of y'all.
Mimi be like, okay, for a side note, my daughter has special needs, so she's nonverbal and she's in a wheelchair, but she will give you a mean up and down.
And she would snatch that lady's whole wig off.
Because you know she got a wig.
She would snatch her wig off.
Because whoever they leaving us with are not dimes.
No. They gonna all have wigs. They
gonna bald-headed.
They gonna have a 27
piece. It'll be a ratchet wig too.
7 piece, like the little short ones
with the little bang. Our kids' stepmamas.
The first lace front.
And I'm like, oh, you going home with your old ugly wife? And I know I would say that.
Right.
See?
Go head home to that old ugly face. Dog face.
That's not me.
She wasn't gonna be mean.
That's not me. I take it back.
If you say so. What you gonna
You
call?
might not say it, but you gonna be thinking it though.
I'll be calling you all over the way.
It's quite possible.
You know his old ugly wife came over here. Like,
he brought this old dog face chick over here to my house. Really?
Exactly. And you know, I'll be still strolling up in this house. But I'm like, oh, you thought I was gonna come
walking in like
here?
No.
If you don't get out of here.
All right. So I'm gonna say the Grammy goes to Tiff for calling the new wife old dog face.
That's what came to mind.
So
wasn't that what Snoop called Gail King or something like that? Wasn't that?
Yes. Funky dog head.
Yes. Horrible.
Ooh, that was classic.
It was
So how did y'all feel about the Grammys? We watched the Grammys all together like we always do everything.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest, I was halfway paying attention because all I really wanted to see was Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. And after that, I was Okay, and Meg and Cardi, that was good too. But I was just like, I was always here for it, so I was kind of halfway listening to be honest.
And see, I know that's the performance I did miss. I didn't see Anderson .Paak, but I did, of course, the ratchet in me did turn around when Cardi B and everybody. I was like, what now?
Wait a minute. Can I say something really quick? There was nobody in that living room, okay, until Cardi and Meg hit the screen. The next thing you know, everybody running like, what's going on?
But let me tell you, I ain't gonna say her name, but I'm just gonna say her alias. Let me tell you about Little Baby though. Little Baby, she was on the floor like this. She had her little arm up and she was on the floor like this. Let me tell you who was doing that routine in their bathroom.
Listen. So we not jump. We gonna keep talking about the Grammys, but I'm gonna just take a quick left turn real fast because my husband is in the comments talking about how him and Jamie already had an exit plan, and I just want to let you know, bruh, blood in, blood out. What exit plan?
None.
What exit plan?
Shoot.
So
Roddy,
Grammys up.
no comment.
And oddly enough, we haven't had this discussion, so we're gonna have this discussion right now, right? So we all watched the Grammys together. Tip is absolutely right. Soon as Meg and Cardi hit the stage, everybody in my house ran towards the TV, and we all were like engulfed in what was happening in that moment.
Kids, adults.
For different reasons, though. We were all like,
yeah. I'm telling you that the youngest person in the room, and listen, y'all gonna learn this about me real quick. I don't care about nobody judging me, okay? Youngest person in the room was 5 years old. Actually, that's a lie. Youngest person in the room was 6 months old. Oldest person in the room was maybe 70 years old. No, that's a lie. Oldest person in the room actually was 86 years old. So we had people from 6 months old. Yeah, my grandma was sitting
take Granny out. I swear to goodness, y'all.
My grandma was sitting right there. And then on some of the parts of the performance, she would make comments like, oh. And that's like taken aback. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I did not expect, I wasn't offended at all by the performance. I thought it was amazing. I was entertained the entire time. I did not expect for it to be as bad as it was. In real life, if I would have seen it before we watched it live in person, I probably would have asked the kids to leave the room. I think I would have. I'm thinking because it's like the Grammys and it's on TV. And then I realized early on in the performance, they were like bleeping the curse words out and they had changed up some of the lyrics. So I was like, it's not going to get that bad. So and then once it got so bad, at that point we was already there.
I've seen it already. So it's like, tell them to leave now after they've already started to see it. You know what I mean?
But the adult faces, like we're not adults.
They was judging us.
The real adults.
Our mothers and mother.
They was in here like, y'all gonna let them watch this.
I had no problem with it because they were being true to who they are. That is who they are. They didn't dumb it down. They didn't nothing. Yeah. They were like, this is us. This is what we do. So, they are known for their genre, and that's just how they are. So, yeah.
And let's be completely honest, though, right? So I'm extremely open with my kids. I allow them to listen to things that have swear words in it because I cuss, my husband cuss, my mama cuss. So I couldn't imagine cussing all throughout the house and then some rap music come on. And I'm like, oh no, you can't listen to that. Turn that off. To me, it just doesn't make sense. So I allow my children to listen to things that have profanity in it. But in real life, as strict as our parents were, we still would have watched that. We would have found it on the internet or found some way to see it, or our friend would have recorded it, and then we all go over our friend's house this weekend and they playing it back. We would have had a way to see it without our parents knowing.
And you know what me and my one friend would have did? We wouldn't knew the whole routine.
We
would all been in her room humping the floor.
For the whole routine down pat. Nobody know.
Listen.
I used to go with my friend because my parents wouldn't let me watch R-rated movies. And so my friend, you go over her house and her parents had a whole collection of VHS cassettes. And I would be over there like, okay, let me catch up on this movie that came out. What about that movie I haven't seen? So you're right. Kids are resourceful and they're going to find a way. So I'd rather them do it around us than maybe we can give them some lessons, life lessons. Why? You know what I'm saying? To make it more of a meaningful experience. Yep. So, yeah.
Yep, I completely agree. And I had a conversation with my kids all the time about stuff that's entertainment. Like I tell them all the time, like a lot of this stuff that you look at, this is specifically to be, it's to entertain you, and for no other reason but to entertain you, and that's it. Like, a lot of these people don't really live this way in their day-to-day life.
And that's what I try to tell my daughter. But the only thing is with Layla, she's at the point where she like lies and act like I don't like. So she's like, I don't even listen to rap. I'm like, okay, girl.
Yeah, okay.
But with Milk,
not last night.
when Megan Thee Stallion got shot in her foot, you like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that to her.
You like, how did you find out?
How did you know?
How
You
did you
didn't
know
listen to her?
Who told you about who Meg was?
Yeah.
I don't know. As much as I think it is entertainment, I'm also willing to admit that it was clear to me that Meg and Cardi had slept together already.
Right.
It's quite possible.
They were showing us what they are.
If you see the video, I was like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah.
Got real.
And on a side note, they had they did a Peloton, because you guys know I have a Peloton.
Yes.
So they did a Megan Thee Stallion Peloton ride, right? So it was really, they had to blur out all the words.
Oh.
But it's another group of people, and it's like Peloton, when you have a Peloton, I know I'm off topic, it's like a cult, right?
It is.
So we have our own group. We have our own groups in Facebook and all this stuff like that. And they were upset, and they were upset about a lot of people were upset about the Grammy performance as well. But they get really fired up about it. Saying it's disrespectful, this, that, and the other. I'm like, but didn't y'all ain't say nothing when Madonna and Britney Spears was tonguing on stage?
Exactly.
We got little sis Chris in the comments. She said she thought the Grammys performances was lit.
One more thing about
us.
So I have to shout out my girl B, because at the Grammys she received her 28th Grammy award, and like that is my, if anybody knows me, that is my girl. I will ride for her. I'm a Beehive member, okay, card carrying member. But I just was so proud to see her as a Black woman just making this historic achievement. Like, it was just wonderful to see her doing that. Like, come on ahead, girl. She was so gracious.
It's amazing.
And
she didn't know. You could tell when I went back to prep for this podcast, and I was going back looking at the clips. She didn't even know that she hit that 28. The 20, because you could tell by her face that she was genuinely shocked. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm here to support my girl. I didn't even know it was all that.
She was good. What'd you say?
So, in addition to Beyonce getting her 28th Grammy, how did y'all feel about Nas getting his first one? How ridiculous!
That is ridiculous. But my boo finally got his stuff.
Yes, long overdue. Long overdue.
I think he's always been in my top 5 dead or alive. So I thought it was weird that would be his first win, and for best rap album. Yep. Like, how does that happen?
It was a good album, only because my husband listens to the album all the time, so I know. But it was a really
classic album.
Had great albums prior.
Yep.
For him,
like Illmatic. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. Definite classic.
I was super excited for Nas. I was also super excited for Lettucey. And then I seen a lot of people that was like feeling some kind of way because she won over Chloe and Halle. And mind you, on behalf of Layla, I'm a huge Chloe and Halle fan. And I know if I ever speak bad on them, that Layla will stop calling me auntie.
You don't want that smoke. You don't want that smoke.
I think they're amazing. I think they're extremely talented, but
they still have time.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Right. Like Lettucey, she's been around for a minute.
So it's great that they gave her flowers now instead of her passing. They like, oh, she was amazing.
Yep. Because a lot of these people should have been had their flowers. I just kind of hope, because I get where we're coming from, right? We happy to see that Lettucey got her Grammy, but I hope that we don't end up continuing this same cycle where we have these extremely talented people like Nas, who's gone all this time, and then he finally gets his Grammy, and then Lettucey, who's gone all this time, and then she gets a Grammy. I really hope that, because I think we say to ourselves, like you said, okay, well, they have plenty of time. I really hope that they do. I hope we don't continue this vicious cycle where we have all of these talented people that have to wait all of these years before they are given their things.
Exactly.
Agreed. So something else I woke up to on Sunday morning. And my mother, huh?
What time did you wake up, first of all?
4 a.m.
What time did you wake up?
Probably about 6. You know, I'm up, and I go down early. Y'all know this now. I go down early. I get up early.
They're the real people that wake up early and they don't have to. I have no choice, but they wake up early and they be texting. So when I'm like, what is?
I'm like 5 hours later. I'm like, dude, the day is half over. You just not waking up? Are you serious?
So you woke up early.
I woke up early
on the weekend.
On the weekend.
I the fact that you was up that early made the news. Whatever you getting ready to share with us was already ridiculous because it was 6 o'clock in the morning on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So what happened to?
All right, I woke up early and the headline was there. Kirk Franklin cusses his son out, and you know immediately you go to Google and you're like, let me look this up and really see it for myself. I sent the link to the two of you. And I was like, first of all, number one, there's outrage. And I don't get it. Like, this man was disrespected by his son. And he went smooth off, okay? Yes, he went off on him. And we don't know what was said to provoke him, right? My thoughts on it is that because he is a man of God, he's held to this higher standard. Yes. Which, I'm not going to go on my soapbox, but I can't stand church folk. Go ahead, Selena. Go ahead.
So let me give you guys a brief background about myself. So I was raised, Kirk Franklin used to be my jam because I could listen to nothing else. So you used to stomp. I used to stomp and go to church every day and stomp Monday to Friday, stomp my way to church, right? So when I heard about it, and I get why some people are upset. Because he's supposed to be, he is an ordained minister. He has done sermons and stuff like that in the past. But I see why. I see both sides, right? But let me tell you something. If I disrespect my mom, forgive me. She is gonna slip up and say some words, okay? Regardless of
business, yes.
Depending on what you say, it's going to come right out. Now, I don't swear, right?
Mm-hmm. This is true.
You guys do not hear me.
It's cool. I swear enough for both of us.
I know you do for the both of us. But let me tell you something. If Layla says something to me, I know how to put the whole words together. One thing is my mom has not always been in church. She started to go into church like when I was like maybe 8 or 9. But from birth to 8 or 9, how she talks to her kids is how my mom talks to me.
Whoa.
Which is not bad.
How you just gonna throw the way I talk to my kids all out there? I talk to my kids very disrespectfully.
You disrespectful?
Yes, because disrespect begets disrespect. Isn't it a Bible verse that say, spoil the rod and
spare the rod, spoil the child?
Yes. And disrespect begets disrespect. Ain't this a Bible verse?
It is a Bible verse, but what I'm saying is my mom had found the Lord. So she turned it off. So from the time that was maybe 9 or 10 until me being an adult, she's I'm not gonna tell her business. Because she is the people who are like the church people that are mad.
Yes. Your mom mad?
She doesn't talk about. She's like he shouldn't have been talking to her like that.
Exactly. Listen. So I mean, since this been already put out there, I'm just gonna let y'all know I cuss my kids the hell out. And I cussed them out on the scale, and that was the biggest issue that I had a problem with. I didn't like the comments that I was seeing online from people who were saying like, "Oh, this means that this is a sign that his son has been abused his whole life." Or people were saying things like, "We shouldn't normalize this kind of behavior, and just because our parents talk to us that way doesn't mean that we talk to them." Listen, I'm an equal opportunity. I will cuss everybody out. Like anybody can get it, including my kids. But I do cuss them out on a different scale. So the words that I use when I cuss my 5-year-old out are not the same words that I use when I cuss my 23-year-old out. Okay, so I'm sure that I'm sure that
and he's was
not calling his
almost 33.
I'm sure he wasn't calling his 30-year-old son a bitch ass when he was 3. I'm sure that that's just not the case.
And the crazy part is I watched an interview with his birth mother and somebody else. They were talking about it. It's just that they had years of back and forth with going through therapy and all of that. And she was on a, she said she knows that cancer, not cancer, but cancel culture is around. And she says she feels like Kirk shouldn't be a part of that.
Yep.
Because you never know, you never know how you can react, especially when somebody is disrespecting you and you've been working with them for years. She said her and Kirk Franklin has successfully co-parent for years. They've tried therapy.
Yep.
She said that she wanted to put it out on the forefront and come out. She said, because I don't know if he has tapes out on me, going off on him, because she said he has made me mad in the past. When she cussed him, she probably cussed him out too.
I think there's not a single person in this world that can say, like, you've never said a cuss word, like never in your whole entire, like even y'all, like y'all don't cuss, but you've never said a cuss word.
I definitely put some things.
You said you could string them together.
Somebody.
So you cussed before?
I am a reformed cussaholic. I'm still in recovery. Okay. So you might hear some things here and there. I'm really working on cleaning up my language. I really have. But the caveat is when I'm angry, you might hear some things. I'm not gonna lie. So when I talk about this, I'm gonna go back to what I said about church folk. I'm talking about that church culture where there's this thought that if people who are not in the church, they feel like they may be judged by church folk for being who they are, right? And there's this culture created that you have to be perfect, and that is so not the Christian concept.
That's true. Yep.
Right? There's only one person that was perfect, and that was Jesus. That's it. You ain't Jesus, and you are flawed, as we all are. So by Kirk going outside, cursing and all that stuff, that to me, number one, did not make him a candidate for a cancellation. Number two, it showed me that he is a human man, right? And to err is human. So we all fall short of the glory of God, right? So I had no problem with that. I just felt like the church folk were judging again. And I'm not condemning them. That's their opinions, absolutely. What I'm saying is this is the reason why some people refrain from getting involved in church and everything, because they're like, I'm not perfect. Okay, they're gonna be looking at me and judging me and whatnot. And that's what keeps some people from actually turning their lives over to Christ. So that's it. But I just felt like, go ahead, Kirk. That was one grown man to another grown man. You want to talk slick and whatnot, I will clap back and get with you.
Yep.
So that was pretty much
There's somebody in the comments that wants you to drop one.
Sis, your brother Rico in the comments, he said he want to hear you drop one of them cuss words you talking about.
Honey on the spot.
She had to
do something, Rick. You gonna get it, okay? Do something. You gonna get the business.
He said you'll hear these.
I'm not mad. I need to be like upset.
So
or maybe a little
piggyback on that, and just to say about, because people on Facebook are not really, they're people people you're acquaintance with, this and the other. So I want to say of my mutual friends of Facebook members, a good portion of them are people that I grew up with in church, right? Because yes, I was a church kid. I went to all the church camps. I wore skirts.
And what they was doing down there to the lockdown, they all on Facebook talking crap about Kirk Franklin cussing. And what was they out there doing to the lockdown at the church?
But let me tell you something.
Kissing and hunching. That's what they was doing.
And
now they judging
that's
Kirk Franklin.
But surprisingly, none of them, all of them said that they don't tolerate disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
So surprisingly, everyone said they stood with Kirk Franklin because, just like Tiff said, we're not perfect. And the only person that's perfect is Jesus or whoever you serve, right? So if that being the case, then you can't fault him because you never know what you're gonna do when you are mad.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. If Layla was grown, let me tell you something. She almost makes me want to cuss her out now, okay, verbally. So if she's a grown woman and does something to me, I'm going bananas. And all those string of words that I said I know how to put together, they will be put together for her.
And it sounds like this was... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead, Tim.
Sounds like this was a buildup. Like they said, they have been going through it for years and years and years, and he was tired. Okay, and we don't know what he said to provoke him. So it happens when you're fed up. You never know what you might say. So I don't know. I felt I'm like, why
was looking for? I think he wasn't expecting. He thought he was going to get a more of a
outrage.
Outrage,
yeah.
and the people weren't, even the people who are not the church people weren't giving them what he wasn't giving him what he wanted. Like I listened to Ricky Smiley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, everyone was pretty much on Kirk Franklin's side, and I think his son wasn't necessarily expecting that because he thought if he put a church person on blast, that everybody was going to.
I think he probably thought we'd cancel him.
I know.
And we're not. Let me tell you something. With Silver and Gold, let me see. He had an NPR tiny desk, and I know his hair's all dyed, and I was in there like, hey. Let me tell you something. I was all into Kirk Franklin songs. Okay, I mean, my husband don't care for his music like that, but let me tell you something. Kirk Franklin is me and him is here.
Yeah, I agree. I love his music.
I think at this point, though, I think the fact that he is an adult made it that much worse. My brother in the comments, Rod, said that his son is a sucker, and I definitely agree. I think the disrespect is way different when you're talking about your child who you've raised up, you've poured into, you've done all of these things to support this person, and then they become an adult. And then what our parents used to say, when you start smelling yourself, and then he get grown, he starts smelling himself, so he thinks he's gonna disrespect his daddy. I don't know many parents who aren't going to have a harsh reaction to their kid being disrespectful. And that's the other part that I don't like about what his son shared, is he played all of that crap with his dad cussing him out, but he didn't play whatever he said that made his dad react that way. And he said when he was going off, he said, "You're not going to disrespect me again." So he reacted that way because he felt disrespected, but his son didn't allow us to hear that part when he was calling his daddy a BAN.
One-sided. I honestly don't think that Kirk should have apologized.
He shouldn't.
That's what I was like, nah, why is he even apologizing? This grown man got the business because he deserved it.
And if he should have apologized, and if he felt sorry, he should have apologized to his son and not to us. He didn't owe us any apology at all. So if he did feel sorry, the apology should have been directed towards his son. But I told y'all right here and right now that I cussed my kids out, and I'm not apologizing to nobody. But there have been some times where I have overreacted and I have felt bad about the way that I've handled a situation. Maybe not cussing them out, but there's been times that I've put my kids on punishment for something and then come to find out that it wasn't what I initially thought it was. I'm not above reproach. I've said sorry to my kids when I've done something wrong. I say sorry to them all the time.
Let them know that we're human too. We make mistakes, and that's okay.
But but let me tell you something about the memes. They took
taking me out.
Ooh, did y'all see Ply say that wasn't my daughter, that was me?
Yeah.
Ply tried to take the heat to his brother. Ply was like, that wasn't him, that was me, y'all.
It was hilarious. And correct, Chris. Correct. Yeah. And if any of my church people see this, they would probably say that I'm in the backslidden state. But exactly what Chris, because I have my
I get why he did it.
I have my drink and stuff, so they probably say I'm in a backslidden state right now, right?
But he was just trying to get Tiff to backslide, talking about go ahead and drop one. He was trying to get Sister backslide.
But he is a sinner. Okay, he's a sinner. So you cannot let these people bring you down. Okay,
he's not gonna bring you down. It's good where we at.
Let me tell. Like Chris said, because he carries the cross, right? You're supposed to lay your cross down. What, Chris? Daily. Okay.
Take up your cross. Yep. Daily. So I get the motivation behind the apology, but I'm just like, listen, bro, we get it. You had it. You made him. You out of character because that boy took you there, and we understand. Yep. We forgive you.
Take that cross down right on his son's face. That's what he should have done. Yep. But
we forgive you, Kirk.
Speaking of people who got cussed out this week, Kirk Franklin should have taken all of that energy that he gave towards his son, and he should have directed that shit towards Stacey Dash ass.
There's a lot of people that need to
because you been mad at her.
Why can't we trade her? We've been trying to trade her for a minute. Okay,
she tried to come back onto our side now. She want us. She said she was in a bad place. She said that she was free. All of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So she tried to come back to us I'm like, girl, don't come back to us. You know what? I'm not. I know y'all people are Michael Jackson lovers. That's just like how when Michael Jackson tried to come back with us when he made "You Rock My World." And
And that's
like,
my jam.
don't come back over here with your soulful R&B music, making butterflies and stuff like that.
Say, no, we don't want you.
We don't want you to stay back over there. So she
Like, summarize what's the Stacey Dash statement? Like, what happened?
basically she came out and just was saying that she was sorry for everything. I don't think
I heard a sorry. I think I heard a lot of excuses.
I didn't get that.
Excuses and basically her trying to say that she was sorry. To our side, which she we don't need.
Gonna come to our team again. Right, we already said we good on you now.
Again.
My brother said she's trying to get back. I just feel like she just made a lot of excuses. Like, she basically wanted to be like, listen, I don't feel that way no more because, you know, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was just a bunch of excuses. And I don't think it mattered. I think the moment that you prove that you're a little finicky anyway, I don't want to be bothered with you. In my personal life, my professional, I don't care. The moment that you prove that you kind of, you know, waver a little bit, then that's enough for me. You can take your little weak link ass and you can stay over there with the white friends. You can do that because they used you. And when you realize you was being used, which is crazy because I wonder when we see white people use black people, I wonder if they realize that it's a thing. Like because we see it, we see them, we see that they're being used, we see that they're being used as a pawn, and we recognize it. They don't recognize it, so then when you recognize it after the fact, you just like, what you just wake up one day and now you have a realization that you've been being taken advantage of all of this time, and you realize that they really don't rock with you the way they thought you would. Which why would you think that? Why would you trust?
Why? So I just felt it was the time, like nobody really, we just like kind of like, okay, Stacey, okay. Go on, Stacey.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that there wasn't, I don't know that we wouldn't be willing. Well, I know I wouldn't be willing to because it's hard for me to get over stuff. I definitely hold grudges and I'm working on myself. But I don't know that if that wasn't the case, that if she was willing to accept some sort of accountability, that maybe the outcome or the reaction would be different.
No, because I feel like it's at the time it was happening, that was the time for you to be like, you know what, maybe I made a bad decision. You know, you gonna wait, how many years has it been since all this stuff happened? Like, you gonna wait all these years later and come out of nowhere with this blanket apology, barely even apology? Is like, dude, where's it even coming from? We over it now.
And why did she wait until March? Wasn't she just down there to the Fox News talking about how she don't think Black History Month should be a thing? Why did she decide to come last month and celebrate Black History Month? She should have dressed up in kente cloth every single day in the month of February and apologized for every single thing that she did. That would have been the time to do it. But no, she waited good and well until Black History Month was over with, until she decided that she was going to come backsliding.
I don't know. And I know that we talking about forgiving folks and everything. We talked about Kirk, but I'm just like,
let me tell you something. On a side note, as you guys see, I'm typing. I just slipped up and just said a cuss word right here under my breath.
What you say? Say it out your breath.
Because my significant
is that the F word?
He knows that I'm doing a podcast and my kid is waiting at home in the bus.
I think she said the F word.
I did.
I synced it. So I'm gonna send you a screenshot.
I synced it. It really happened.
Her over here.
Every now and again, like I said, we are all human, and things happen. We forgive her, but she can't come to the barbecue. That's right, Chris. Can't come to the barbecue. We already know how she gets down.
So this is my question, all right. So if we all human, what level of immunity support you think come automatically with being human? Like, you think as a human, like we take all of this stuff, right? We take and I know Tiff know, you take all of the vitamins, you take all of this stuff, you do all of these things to boost your immune system, right? So on the scale of mono to COVID, How you feel about Trey Songz spitting down in the girl's mouth?
Brenda.
We all human. It's just spit, right, Tiff? We all human.
It's not spit.
It's just spit. We all, Tiff just said we all human. We all human. We all have spit.
So what is your actual question? What's the question?
How you feel about it? You gonna what you? Okay, I got 2 questions then. So
it's like tongue kissing. I'm just kidding.
So Salita said she down for it.
Salita is with it. Like what? I'm gonna take all them germs.
It's like, you know, when you kiss, you exchanging spit. But let me tell you, he's dehydrated like I am. So you want to know? He was like,
talking a loogie in her mouth, dude. It was all thick and
yes, it's the same thing. It is.
Tongue kissing. It is, but it's
even little sis Chris think it's the same thing. So officially, Salita and Chris are both cool with having somebody.
No,
it's cool. It's cool. We understand.
No,
we know where you at. Where you at, Tiff? You gonna let somebody spit in your mouth?
No. Okay, here's the thing. I understand they are the same thing because we're both exchanging fluids, right? But it's the manner that it happened that grossed me out. It's the talking to Loogie and she's got her tongue out like, no, that is the manner that it happened that really, I was just like, y'all remember that we did this yesterday. We pulled it up and this is my first time seeing it. And Khalil was like, I want to see your reaction. I'm like, wait, why? And when I saw it, I was like, like, oh my goodness, why? So yeah, tongue kissing and having somebody spit in your mouth is the same thing, but it's just the manner of it is grosses me out. I can't do it. Don't. I ain't opening my mouth.
And it was. I seen the one where it was just like
it, like a little bit of it got on his stomach,
like it was phlegm.
Oh.
That's why he was able to stretch so long.
Tim could not even handle it.
Robbie, you better not try to spit in my mouth.
Look, Rob played that joint on a loop, and Tiff was like, "Stop!"
She said, "Hey, can you turn it off?"
There it is.
Oh no! Why would our producer do something like that?
Listen, he's trying to traumatize. He's trying to traumatize.
I was like, he's a super spreader. It looked like COVID going into her mouth right now. It's just like I can't do it. Okay, take it off the loop. Oh my god.
She like she was yesterday. Take that off.
Tiff cannot even handle it. Tiff can't handle it. So I kind of agree with Chris and with Sis, right? I think it is like kissing. I'm not mad at it. However, I wouldn't go to not even a concert. I don't want a complete stranger spitting in my mouth, but I also am not going to kiss a complete stranger. So I'm gonna say this on record. If I'm willing to kiss you, then I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. No.
That is totally your right. That is your right. I don't want no loogie in my don't hawk no loogie in my mouth.
Let me tell you something. He was gathering his spit.
He was.
Yeah, like what you say? He had a dry mouth and
he needed some water. I've been needing water. He was trying to
collect it.
So Trey Songz spit in your mouth. Would you rather have mono or COVID?
Mono isn't necessarily lethal, so I don't know.
You have the bumps in your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm. Mono isn't lethal. I don't think anyone.
Is it? You about to
die from mono?
We're gonna have to fact check that.
Don't make me go down to the Googles.
Go to the Googler.
I would prefer to have COVID.
Now
mono was like in college. If somebody had mono, it was like okay, cancel culture. This.
So mono and herpes are not the same. So you can get over mono just like how you can get over COVID. You'd rather have COVID than mono?
I mean, I don't. Well, maybe not COVID because I can possibly pass.
Possibly die.
Oh no, nobody that died from mono.
But just to know
I don't think mono is lethal.
What I was gonna say.
Yes, you are.
It's like a Caucasian thing. You know how they be having
the cold sores?
Yeah.
So you would rather have COVID than a cold sore?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it be all bleeding and stuff.
And it don't go away. I think that's what is that? That's herpes simplex 1. So
that's herpes simplex.
It's always the people that had that crap on their mouth. They be like, you want some?
Oh.
Are you crazy?
Your problem. I'm like, this was wrong with your lips now. You keep sharing drinks with everybody at the bar. That's a mess. So Tiff, you not down for it? Selena said she cool with it. You not cool with it?
I did not say that.
I'm down with kissing, but that form is not what's up.
No.
No.
No, that's not.
Don't be like that.
I mean,
that form,
you and your husband been together all these years. You're not gonna let him. What about if he don't like hawk it up? What if it's just like a little drool? What if he just take like a little drool and he just like drool a little bit in your mouth?
You know what I feel? I'm like, nigga, did you spit on me?
So mad, like, ugh.
Spit on me? Day and Friday after next. Did you spit on me?
Yes. Yes.
We nasty. I'm good on that. Don't spit in my mouth like that. Not in that way. It's just not my thing.
So speaking of mono and COVID, what do I want to know how y'all feel about this whole situation with the 6 Asian people that were killed by Mr. Crazy White Man down to the beauty supply store. And it wasn't a beauty supply store, I'm just saying. That's where I see all the Asians.
I'm not familiar with this story. So where was this?
It was in Atlanta.
Wasn't he mad and went to 3 different spots?
He said he was having a bad day. He went down to the spa and he shot a lot of people. I think there were 2 people.
All Asian?
But there were 6 Asian people that were killed. Mm-hmm.
And just like what my husband said, racism is real. It takes on many forms, and it's not just the marginalized groups differ. It's not just Black folks. It's not just Muslims. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that is not in the majority, yeah. So I think it's awful. I think it's horrible.
And I think Chris made a good point where she said that she can't believe that they said he was having a bad day. And that's kind of the part that like really took me aback, is that I just don't understand. Like, a lot of times when Black people are the victims of hate crimes, they immediately want to attack the character of that person who was the victim. So they'll go and find out that maybe when he was in kindergarten, he stole some candy from the penny store, or they'll find out that when he was in elementary school, he smoked weed with one of his friends. But meanwhile, every single time that it's a white person who is committing these hate crimes, they're not the victim; they're the aggressor,
and they're troubled.
And they make excuses for them. They're like, oh, well, they had PTSD. They literally said this guy had a bad day.
Bad day.
I've had a lot of bad days.
But I ain't never decided to go kill nobody.
Not never.
All have. That doesn't equate at all.
And you had a bad day. And it's different if you just took it out on one person. You went to 3 different spots and had bad days. And then picked Asians. That's crazy. People are just nuts.
Damn, like that is awful.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and I think it's even more disgusting with the way that we handle white people with kid gloves when it comes to shit like this. I think that's the even more disgusting part.
There are mental health issues or whatever it is, and it's not like this is a crazy fool who need to go to jail. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. They always shooting them bail. Had a horrible day yesterday and didn't kill anyone. Right? They need to learn coping skills, okay? Exactly. We've all had a bad day. That don't mean that doesn't legitimize murder.
Exactly. So I know a lot of people were concerned with the fact that there were Black people who were what was it, hashtag save Asian lives, yep, or something, where we were advocating for the murders of these people. So there's a lot of Black people who feel like they don't cape for us, so why we out here caping for them? I'm not saying I feel that way. I actually don't feel that way. I'm an extremely empathetic person, so I feel bad for people whenever horrible things happen to them. However, on the flip side, I understand the people who feel that way, because we've seen how they did Kane down to the minute. So I mean, they haven't always treated us the best way either.
They haven't. I mean, and I see that as well, but it's still someone's life. Somebody's life was taken.
That's how I feel.
So regardless if petty me and the inside and say, okay, that's true, but you still have to show empathy, yes, to a different race, because although they may not receive the same type of racism that we do, they're still a minority. They're still a minority. Yep. They're still a people of color, and they still have the same racism on different levels with the Asians. So it's just really unfortunate. But that guy did make it get arrested, and he was still alive.
Yep.
Still alive. Did they take him to Burger King? Did he get a meal on the way home?
I don't know if they got him a Whopper, but
I think they drove him through the Panda Express drive-through.
Okay.
But it does. That is the treatment, though, of a white assailant. They get like the red carpet roll on the way to jail, right? The whole red carpet, and we might not even get the opportunity to make it to the back of the police car.
Exactly. So I think we all agree that we feel like it was a horrible situation, and we don't necessarily feel like because we're Black and I don't even want to say oppressed, the most oppressed, because I feel like that's the issue. Like, I feel like I kind of, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the tone that I get from people who feel like, oh, we shouldn't be advocating for Asians in this situation. I feel like those are the people who want to kind of hold that badge of honor. Like, oh no, as Black people, we are the most oppressed. Like, you can't come over here and step into our oppression pond. Like, what is that about?
The ones.
I feel like we can't sympathize with other people when they literally are experiencing the same kind, even if it's not on the same scale. I think it's horrific either way when you experience the brutality that comes along with white people being racist.
I get it. I can go on a whole, because I live with somebody that's very militant. So I can go on a whole thing, but for the sake of this podcast,
I think your husband was the original Black Panther.
Yes. And it's always the white people.
And he was reincarnated again and again, and then he just keep coming back.
It's always the super light people. Like him and Amanda Seals are super light.
Yes.
Jesse Williams is super light. It's always the light brights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my job, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tiff.
At my job, I train different programs in child welfare. And we have this section on the Indian Child Welfare Act. And so we're talking about why we have legislation in place to protect Native Americans. There's always somebody Black in the class that says, why we got legislation for the Indian Americans and not for us? And it's like, it's true. The Indians, okay, they have been through it. Can we agree that they have been through it? The land stolen from them? I mean, everything. So, I mean, there is that parallel. So what do you say to that? Our struggle is documented. It is real. So why is there nothing in place? We've been talking about reparations since I can remember. Right. There is nothing in place for us. Don't give me no Black Lives Matter movement in name only, but then nothing actually tangible happens to advance anything on our behalf. So what do you guys feel about how other groups get some type of treatment, like Holocaust survivors, Indian Americans? What do you think about that?
I think to disregard what happened to Indigenous people here is irresponsible. I think that we all have our different struggles, and I just don't understand why we always have to have a debate or argument over whose struggle is greater than the other person's. I just don't understand that. I just don't understand why we just can't focus more on what we can do overall to make things better for our children and our children's children. Why do we just have to continue to have this battle about? I would say, I mean, ultimately there is one race of people that is responsible for all of this disgusting shit. So I don't understand why internally we have to debate with one another over whose pain is greater than the other person's pain, when ultimately there's one race. What you call them?
Race.
Because I call them the white people. You call them the Caucasians. I mean,
and that goes on to say, when did you guys see the Cheryl Osborne situation? Ooh. And she said she had the nerve to tell her,
the Sharon Osbourne.
Well,
she said, "Don't you cry, and don't you sit over there and cry." Anybody should be crying. I should be crying. And I wanted to jump through my entire computer screen and strangle Sharon Osbourne with both of my hands. I wanted to give her a lashing of the tongue worse than Kurt Franklin's son has ever seen in his whole entire life.
Mm-hmm. Because one thing I could commend Cheryl Underwood for remaining her composure.
She's a better woman than I am.
Because if it was, especially with her personality, you thought she would have went bananas on her. But she probably had to take back and know if you went off on somebody like that on TV.
Yep.
she would have gotten the backlash as
Yep.
the angry person.
Yep.
But Sharon Osbourne was completely out of line. Like, are you kidding me?
All because her friend hurt.
Exactly.
Did you see it too?
No, I didn't. I thought no, I didn't. So can you paraphrase what happened?
So let me tell you what happened. So Sharon Osbourne decided to go down to her talk show and cape for her friend Piers Morgan, who also is a disgusting human being, and decide that she wants to talk about how royal he is and how he's just all about the royal family. He's just all about all of these horrible British culture aspects, right? So she decides that she basically going to defend him, and she wanted to. The point that she was trying to make, which to me is extremely invalid point, and it's a point that white people try to make all the time, is why does it racist because he had issues with this woman? Why does it, if he has issues with Meghan Markle, why does it have to be racist? Why can't he just not like her? Why does it? It's possible it don't have nothing to do with the fact that she is
and she's black.
Is it? Chris said we have audio issues. Is it better now?
Are we still having?
Well, you were breaking up at one point, but I think
Sorry, guys.
You can hear us now, too?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So she was trying to say that
Okay, now you're breaking up again.
Oh crap! I wonder what is it? I wonder what it be.
I don't know what it is. My bad.
We got dropped out.
Hold on one moment. I can hear you. I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I can hear you.
Oops, my bad.
This that shit I be talking about. So now they over here trying to interfere.
They're like,
because they know what we over here talking about.
You gonna be coming for the royal family now? So my thing about the whole Meghan Markle interview debacle is y'all mad at
Chris said she thinks something from Tiff, and so do we sound fine? And this Tiff that sounds a little distorted.
I know, right? Because you know I believe in aliens, Chris.
Can we drop Tiff down her back up?
And our camera not on.
See?
You see how they do us?
As soon as you start talking about exactly how real this shit is, then they just want to come through and put their little alien fingers all over the internet line. Let's go out and come back in.
You want to go out and come back in?
Mm-hmm. Let's close the tab.
Okay, I'm here.
Hey,
welcome back.
Let me tell you something. The white man is not gonna bring us down. They gonna get this lashing of the tongue, okay? So what she tried to do is you can hear us, right, Tiff?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So what she tries to do is she basically tried to come back and say that she doesn't understand why if a white person has an issue with a black person, why it's automatically racist. She wasn't willing to acknowledge that it was not the fact that he was British, which to me is a whole different topic, which we kind of touched on last week when we were talking about Meghan Markle. Like, I mean, we're talking about British people, like we're talking about the original colonizers.
Exactly.
Like to me, it would be shocking to find out that they are not racist. That would be the shocker.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
That would be the shocker for me. But she wasn't willing to acknowledge that it was the actual content. It was what he was saying that was racist that made it that way. Like, and we didn't necessarily go into details on it last week, but even simple comments as them wanting to not acknowledge that she was his wife and to say like, oh, he got this, what they call her, actress. He knocked up an actress. Like, no, he didn't knock up an actress. He knocked up his wife. Like, his wife is pregnant with his child. But it's just simple stuff like that where they're not willing to acknowledge the fact that they wanted to make it seem like she was down here and he was up here. So she didn't want to acknowledge that undertone, and she basically started to feel like she started to feel like because she was friends with him that people would also think that she was also racist, which she is, obviously.
If for her to react the way she did and go crazy,
because the hit dog will holler.
I mean, it's to the point with the clip that I seen, they had to actually bleep out the words that she was saying before they went to commercial break.
She got so upset
because that's
like
how mad
swearing.
she was.
Yes.
Right. So if you're to the point where you're mad like that, then you're racist.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna do it.
And no one said she was racist. So she was upset about the idea of people thinking that she was racist without anyone ever. No one even had to say it. Mm-hmm. No one even had to say it before she knew it. And she knew it because it's already who she is. So she was worried that, oh my goodness, I've said too much. I've showed my hands. Now they know who I am. And she didn't know how to handle it. Because
she tried to say that she was blindsided. But even if you are blindsided, how you are as a person will still come out. So if you're not racist, you would say, hey, I can see how you can understand that, but I know, like she could say something like, I know Pierce.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Instead of reacting the way she did, because it was ridiculous.
Because that's the part that I actually did agree on. I am very much so a ride or die friend. Mm-hmm. So if my friend does something wrong, I am going to come here and I'm going to let you know that is not the person who I know. The friend that I know would not respond that way. But what I'm not going to do is make excuses for whatever behavior they did. I'll handle that on the back end with my friend. If I disagree with whatever you did, I'm going to talk to you about that personally, where I'm going to say, listen, I think that was kind of fucked up that you handled it that way, but I'm not going to defend you and advocate for you in public. What I'm going to defend is the person who I know. And that's what she should have done instead of making excuses for anything else. And then when she told Cheryl Underwood, and she told her verbatim, she said, and don't you cry, because if anybody should be crying right now, it should be me. Excuse me?
You choke. White tears.
Exactly.
Oh, you said white tears.
And that's what they do.
Seriously.
That's what they do. As soon as they get called to the table, the first thing white women want to do is cry. I literally had this exact same situation happen to me a couple of weeks ago at work. I think I was even telling y'all about it, where there's a specific woman who I work with, and she has said extremely racist shit on several occasions, where she said, at one point she said, we were planning an event for Day of the Dead, which is a holiday that is specifically to celebrate people who have passed on. It's like to celebrate your ancestors, right? Yes. So she made a comment about Mexican food, because we were talking about how a lot of times during Day of the Dead, people will have Mexican food to like celebrate or whatever. So she made the comment that, oh, it's authentic Mexican food when you get sick afterwards, because Mexican people have poor hygiene and they don't. Girl. And she don't think it's nothing wrong with her saying crazy stuff like that, right? My oldest son Jordan comes in the room one day. We're on Zoom. She says, oh my goodness, Kalia, I love how wild and crazy your son's hair looks. It makes me want to go out and adopt a black baby right now. And she don't think there's nothing wrong with her saying wild shit like this, right? But then the day that I confronted her, she ended up crying. Not me. She ends up in tears and exits out of the Zoom room and has never come back to another meeting that we had since then. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted
no.
By people doing shit to us and then acting like you can't say nothing back to somebody because they so fragile. Which I guess is the point. They can't even handle the shit.
Nope.
That's the peril of being black in America. It's like you get labeled as the angry black woman or angry black man when you speak up for yourself, right? When you fight back, when you clap back, or whatever you want to call it. You're angry, but if you don't say anything, you keep it inside and you're just upset all the time. Like, it's just how do you deal with that experience? How do we deal with the day-to-day of wearing this skin? We can't take it off, right? You can't take it off, but this skin has such a connotation to some people, and you just have to keep your cool at all times, because if you pop off, you might be in jail or dead, right? Like, these are the conversations that we're having with our children, telling them if they get pulled over, don't act a fool, don't do what they say. Your job is to get home. That's your objective, is to get home. All that stuff. So what do you got? I mean, how do you reconcile that?
I don't know. And the sad part is, I don't know if you necessarily can, because I suppress a lot of, one thing with living out in Arizona, I suppress a lot of it. Because at home, I think I want to say the white people are used to how we talk and interact with each other. If we pop out off, they won't necessarily think of you as angry or anything like that. So out here, I've learned to suppress it, so I won't be the angry Black person. So when they do see me go off, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe. I'm like, you should be happy I didn't start clapping.
Exactly.
Because that was the next step. Right?
Lucky you only get about 25% of all this, okay?
Exactly.
I've made the decision that going forward, I'm not going to be quiet. So I feel like when they make those kind of comments that are offensive to us, and we sit there and we be quiet and we hold it in and we try not to react and we try not to go off, why? They don't have a problem offending us, so why should we have a problem speaking up about the offense?
Because the consequences for us are different than it would be for them in the same situation.
And maybe if we start giving them this business more often, they won't be so fragile towards it. Maybe they'll become
marginalized.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Maybe they'll build up some sort of callous towards it. So it's not. So as soon as you say a word, as soon as my face got serious with this woman, she started crying. I'm like, what is happening right now?
No, why are you crying? I hate when people cry on the phone.
What is that about?
Like, stop.
And it makes it, and to me, that's emotional abuse, because now you're making it uncomfortable. And I don't even know how to react, because now you're making me uncomfortable with your white tears.
Because I don't even know what to say with you at this time. Well, just drive them.
Join the party, because I'm not coming to your pity party. So it's just gonna be a party of one today. What you do, Tip? Because you're the nice one.
You are out of the three of us.
Just to be completely transparent, I know people, #white tears. I know people who have had a straight up confrontation with racism, like racism up in your face. I am a Black woman who went to a predominantly white high school out in Birmingham. And I can honestly say, and I admit that a lot of things I'm just oblivious to be honest. I've never had a straight up confrontation. I've had times where I was like, you know what? I think she did that because I was Black, or I think they said that, or I think this is because I'm Black. I've had those situations. I've never had a upfront, in your face person like what you had, Khalid. I've never really had that, so I haven't had the opportunity to be confronted with that anger and manage my feelings in that way. So I haven't had that confrontation, but I've had that feeling where I'm just like, you know what? I think that's some bull crap. If I was a white person, but there's been nothing direct. So I honestly can't. I don't know.
Well, I'm happy for you.
I've never had anything direct, but I have called a white person a nigga to their face. I called them one nigga.
I don't have no beef with that. I don't have any beef.
He was looking at me like I was strange. I said, you're one.
Yes. I don't have no beef with that.
Me either.
Ironically enough, I use the N-word, and I use the N-word across the board. Like I don't care what color you are. To me, it's not race specific.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a behavior for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
it means ignorance, right?
Absolutely.
So if that's what you're being, that's what you're going to be called.
How you're acting, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. We just add a lot of soul to it when we say it. We don't add the ER. That's why they want it.
That's why they want it back. They want to be allowed to say it because they like the twang we put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Had some awesome conversation today, ladies.
Good.
So we will be back. Any departing remarks? Anybody want to say something before we close out?
Not necessarily. I'm proud of us.
I know we did really good today.
Like we did that, we were organized. All right, great job. So everybody, we'll be back next week. Okay, you're gonna see us every single week on your timeline. Get used to it. Okay, tune in every week. Sisters Talking Ish, and we are out.